Welcome to another episode of the Carlito Monroe Show. I'm the host, Carlito Monroe. And today I'm going to do a reaction video, kind of dabbling around with it. Not real sure how it turned out, but I'm going to give it a go. Social media platforms, all of them are the same, Carlito Monroe Show. Click, like, share, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so I upload content. Try to do more of these reaction videos and see how they turn out. But this one, this particular show is about, it's on paternity court. And the woman has convinced this guy, this has been his child for over 15 years. He's been paying child support and all kind of money over the years. So, just see how it turns out, see if it's his kid or not, or see how this goes. So I'm going to give it a go. Again, you're going to have to excuse me. I'm a little shaky with all of this stuff, but let's see how it turns out. Trying to make this smaller so you can get a good shot at the judge there. All right, let's go.
Jerome, good day, everyone. Good day. Mr. Connor, you say a one-time fling with the defendant turned into more than 15 years of child support payments and even jail time for a child you have never believed is yours. You need today's results to prove you are not her child's father.
Wait a minute. It's already saying this guy done been to jail because of this kid. And I get it. If it's your child, you're supposed to take care of your child. But I never got the whole thing of locking the man up if he's not paying child support. Because if he's locked up, they work in jail, but they work in 20 cent an hour or something. So whatever money you pay on child support is going to even be less support for the child than from the beginning. But I don't know. Let's go.
Ms. Wallace, you and your husband claim the plaintiff knows he is your son's biological father and want him to pay what he owes when the results prove it today. Mr. Wallace, you say you trust your mother, but acknowledge Mr. Connor's recent actions have given you doubt.
I don't know. This kid kind of favors him. I don't know. It's kind of like, around the eyes and nose. I don't know. He doesn't have the ear. Well, I think he might even have the ears. He kind of favors them.
Mr. Connor, explain to the court why today's results are so important.
That's something else I wanted to say. I watch this show sometimes, and the judge doesn't look the same on every episode. And I guess it goes back to black women with the makeup, and it's like a mask, and you could change your face and change your hair because she have her hair different and different makeup on. And if you take the time, just Google her and just see what she really looks like, because she looks totally different. She looks way, way different. It's crazy.
Today's results are so important, Your Honor, because I need to undo a terrible injustice that's been inflicted up.
He said un-Jew. Would that make him anti-Semitic? Now let's continue.
On me and my family. It's caused a lot of problems, financially especially. It's times when I can't afford things. I've even been to jail. 2005, November the 5th until January 2006.
So they locked this man up for a year for child support. Man, our laws is just something. It just seemed like it would do better to make him work and just garnish his wages, and I guess people get paid under the table or some kind of way. I don't know. It seemed like a better formula than to just lock him up.
For failure to pay child support.
For failure to pay child support. That is correct, Your Honor. And there was no home for me to go to. I lost that. I lost my car. I lost my job.
Wow.
I was 36 years old. I had to start all over. It's making my character look real bad, Your Honor. And I know for a fact that she know he's not my son.
2.5 months in jail.
Yes.
Child support in arrears.
Yes, I still owe $610. They're taking $70 a week. Yes, I'm broke.
Your Honor, he just wants off child support. For one, it was more than just a one-night fling.
You know Jeffrey isn't my child, and I have you on Facebook.
Well,
Doesn't leave.
You can quit pointing your fingers because I'm an adult.
But no, you're not. No, you're not. What kind of adult?
I'm 42.
Now, just like that. See, I can tell right now this woman is vindictive. I can see it in her face. And when she was younger, she probably looked more attractive. I think she's 42. I mean, my wife's 45 and looked way younger than her. But you could tell this woman's face. She's looking to ruin whatever man's life she's involved in. And she's married now, but I'm sure she gives that husband a hard time also. And then it's like she's not even considering the son, because you can see like the expression on the son's face. He's looking at his mother now, just like he's heard all this bashing for years. And that's what women tend to do. Their disdain that they have for the baby daddy or the father or whatever, and they'll put that off on the child, and then the child will have that natural dislike for that mother or father, whoever left, which is usually a father, because mothers usually keep them, and it just makes for a bad bring up of a child, and that's crazy. And this guy's adamant this is not his child, but it's hard to say. I've seen these kind of shows before. It's hard to say when a child is not yours, but you have an unprotected sex with him. But let's continue.
Years
Subject
old.
their child
I'm
to
42
something like
years
that all
old,
of
Your
these
Honor.
years.
I raised my 3 kids by myself. You not one time.
Wait a minute. 42 years old, 3 kids, and she says she raised them by herself. So this is her husband over here, over to the right of the screen. This is her husband. So if she raised 3 kids by herself, so she's met this guy later in life, after she had already had 3 kids with probably 3 men or 2 men or whatever the case that are not with her. And I can just judge him by her attitude. And yes, I'm prejudging, but judging by her attitude, nobody wants to be married to her. And this guy ain't going to be married much longer either. So let's continue.
Knew what I had to struggle and go through
because I know he's not my
myself.
Son.
All right, so I'm not sitting up here whining and talking about
problem.
what me and my kids had to go without eating.
Is not my
problem. Son Jeffrey had holes in his shoes and growing up going to school.
That's his.
Okay. She goes on and said he grew up, had holes in his shoes and going to school without, or whatever the case is. And yeah, that's probably part of the dad's fault, but what about the woman picking the wrong man? Why did she sleep with this man? Why did she have 3 kids and not married? What happened? Why is nobody marrying you? And when will women like her and other women take accountability for what they did wrong instead of just blaming everybody else? It's crazy.
His dad's fault.
Mama had to, yeah.
That's his dad's fault.
Okay. Who is his father then?
I don't.
Who is his? You said you know.
It's not me.
You said you know.
Ms. Wallace,
not me.
Tell the court, you say your son had to grow up without.
Yes. Ask Jeffrey. Ask him. He went to school with holes in his shoes.
Why was you telling him for years that another man was his father as well?
Jeffrey, have I ever told you that another man was your father? Ask my son, Your Honor.
Let's pause, and I want to go back a little bit and understand. Mr. Connor, you say the relationship with Ms. Wallace was a one-night stand.
Yes.
Can you tell me about that? Do you remember this relationship, encounter?
There wasn't a relationship. I met her through a family member. We all used to hang out a little bit here or there in the fall. We came together one time, and up on penetration, she changed her mind, and that was that. I never knew anything about Jeffrey. She had a friend who told me, "Oh, did you sleep with Wanda?" I said, "No, not really, sort of." Then I told her what happened. There was penetration. I told her the story, and then she said, "Well, I just wanted to tell you, she was pregnant already."
Oh, wow.
So I want to understand your testimony. You're saying that you did start to have a sexual encounter,
yeah.
but then it's...
Usually when a woman, if somebody's telling a story or something about a woman that they don't like, they generally will make noises. Just grunts and moans or whatever because they don't like that truth being told about them.
At some point, Miss Wallace, what, changed her mind?
She changed her mind.
She said she didn't want to do it.
Yeah, she changed her mind.
And you said, fine, because no is no.
Yeah.
And you never completed the act?
No.
And it never lasted more than one night? You never had sex again?
No.
That's not true either.
What do you remember, Miss Wallace?
I remember him and I being in a whole year relationship, and we had sex numerous of times, Your Honor. And
Numeral's not a word.
he did know. Well, I got sick. How I found out that I was pregnant. I got sick. My mom taking me to my doctor's appointment, and that's when I found out I was 2 months pregnant. And I called you and I told you.
You
Back
never
then
told
we
me.
had you a lie.
You never told
Back
me.
then we had pagers. Shut your lying butt up.
Hold on.
Okay.
Let
I was wondering when the judge was going to say something. She just said doing whatever she want to do, like this is her courtroom. Jesus, I'm getting upset just watching this.
Back then we had pagers.
You popped up with him
I
when he was
messaged him,
3 or
Your
4
Honor.
years
Can
old.
I please
Mr.
talk?
Connor, I'm going to give you a chance to respond. I promise I will give you a chance to respond.
He very
Miss Wallace,
disrespectful.
I want you to speak and I want to hear what you're saying. You
Yes,
say,
ma'am.
Do you remember the day you told him?
I do not remember
Do you remember how you told him?
I never
Yes.
heard about
Hold
the
on,
pregnancy.
Mr. Connor.
Oh, over the phone.
So you called him.
Yes, I called him and we spoke over the phone. We used to have, as he called it, phone sex. So anyways, we will talk over the phone all the time. And yes, when Jeffrey was born, yes, I did take our son.
She's saying all of this stuff, and then this husband, look at his face. He's enduring the madness, and I feel sorry for this guy.
Over to his father's house, and when the stuff hit the fan is when I popped over his house. It was another female there, and his sister told me that he was upstairs with another woman.
All right, pause right there.
Honor.
Do you
If it was
remember being told she was pregnant?
only by the friend? I blew that off because a penetration act, she intentionally done this. That's a crime, what she did. She knew.
And why would she intentionally trap you?
At the time, I was doing pretty good. So I had a little BMW. We were young. Couple of them. I was watching them. I say,
why do people think you're doing well if you have a fancy car or a foreign car? That just means you have a bill for the most part. But he's like, oh, I was doing well. I had a BMW. I had a couple of them. So, I don't know. I don't know. Never mind. Let's just keep going.
all of a sudden, here come the child support. I think maybe she thought I had a little money as well. Maybe.
So can I ask
Back
you, you
then.
say you saw Jeffrey when he was 3 or 4 months old. She brought him over. Both of you all at least agree on that. I want to know when's the next time you saw him.
I seen him when he was 5. He came to my mother's funeral, repast.
And you agree to that, Miss Wallace?
Yes, ma'am.
That
Yes, Your
happened.
Honor.
And
Yes.
during the time from 3 to 4 months to 5 years old, did you all ever have conversations about Jeffrey at all?
Yes, me
Yes.
and her
Yes, he
had a couple
told
of
me that he wanted to
conversations.
be in his son's life. I told him I did not want to be in a relationship with him. You know.
You're a professional liar. Man,
And you know what? I'm not going to even, disrespect you because I'm a woman.
that's not disrespect.
So,
You committed a crime.
Like I said, Your Honor, this man, he wanted to be with me, and I did not want to be with him.
All right, but did you discuss Jeffrey and
Yes.
whether or not you were going to
Our
raise him?
discussion was-
child support?
He wanted me to be with him in order to be in Jeffrey's life. I should not have to be in a relationship with a man in order for him to even help with his child. The courts told him and gave him a date.
I wasn't there.
He never
I didn't
showed-
get served.
Oh, God. Yes, he did, Your
No.
Honor.
And I understand how that happens. Trust me, that's
It's
called
called a
being
default.
It's right. It's called a default
Yeah.
judgment. And if the father doesn't show up to court,
Yes.
he will be named the father by default and required to pay court-ordered child support, regardless.
I mean, I can't front it. I mean, he does favor him a lot. I mean, I'm not gonna just go with the fair skin. I think he looks more like his mother in there, but he's got a hint of him. Oh, let's continue.
You're here now. You've suffered all the consequences of that. And I honestly say to myself, Mr. Connor, he must really believe that he's not this young man's biological father. Because the truth is they've put you on record as the legal father.
Yeah.
That's why you're responsible for support.
Yeah.
And I can't really understand that, except for the fact that you truly believe you are not his biological father.
Yes. I know.
Jeffrey, I want to ask you, I know this testimony has been difficult. I thank you for being patient. Can you tell me, when was the first time you met Mr. Connor?
The first time that I met Jewett here, that I recall meeting, I was like, 10 years old at that point. I remember my mom, some other family members were riding around East St. Louis, and we decided to stop through this drive-through liquor store. And one of my family members was like, "Hey, that's your dad."
So,
wait a minute. I think he said East St. Louis. Let's rewind that real quick and see what they say.
We decided to stop through
driving to St. Louis. I thought he said East St. Louis. Let me rewind it a little further.
Members were riding around East St. Louis, and
he did say East St. Louis. Yeah, that's crazy.
We decided to stop through this drive-through liquor store, and one of my family members was like, "Hey, that's your dad."
So when you see this man and they just casually say, "This is your dad," does
Yes,
he
ma'am.
say hello to you?
Yeah, he said, "Hey," but it wasn't like a conversation further than that, because I just hurry up and got back in the back seat, because I'm like, I don't have a dad. So like, how can any member of my family just say, "Hey, that's your dad"? Because prior to then, no one really spoke to me, that I recall, spoke to me like, "Hey, this is your dad," and everything. So prior to that particular point, I never really thought like, "Hey, who's my dad?"
Let's see, move this down a little bit. Mr. Connor is you. Yeah, they don't look alike at all now, but let's keep going.
Never, there wasn't a thought for me. But after the liquor store incident, that's when I started wondering and everything.
All right.
And we ended up, so after I started asking my mom a lot of questions, I guess she was like, "Hey, it's time for you to actually hang out with this side of your family." So that summer, after church, we go over there. But when I was there, I spent more time with his sister and my cousins and everything. And
Mr. Connor, do you remember this time when Jeffrey came to visit your family?
Yeah, I do kind of, sort of. I came over there and he was already there, and my wife asked me who he was.
I'd like to hear from your wife. Ma'am, please stand and step over to the podium. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'd like to know what you know about this situation.
When Jeffrey was 10, we came home one day to the house, and he was sitting on the couch, and I just asked.
That just show you, you just never know. Like, this woman is 34 years old. I would have never thought she was 34. And I'm looking at him, I figure he's a lot older. I don't remember how old he is, but that's just crazy.
Asked Jewett, who is that? And he said, "That's Jeffrey." And I already knew the situation. He had already told me.
What had he told you?
That basically they wanted to put a baby on him. He attempted to have sex with her. And
at this point, when Jeffrey was 10.
She seems a little coached. It's like, well, I'm going to go to court. I'm going to say this. I attempted to have sex with her. I didn't go all the way. So make sure you say the same thing that I said. It just doesn't seem like it doesn't seem genuine. Like she's actually reporting. I'm led to believe he may have coached her a little.
Was your husband paying child support for Jeffrey?
yes, he was paying child support for Jeffrey already. And we didn't see Jeffrey again until he was, I want to say maybe like 15 or so. He stopped by the house one day.
And you didn't make any effort to stay in contact with him?
I did. I reached out to him on social media because he wrote a big paragraph on Facebook saying, where's my dad, and why was I never part of your family, and that kind of stuff. So I called. I asked Jeffrey Ford's number, and I had Jewett to call him, and Jewett told him, I'm not your dad. That's why you didn't spend time with the family.
Do you remember writing that?
I do. I do. There was this particular scene from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when Will is like having a conversation with his dad, and his dad is like trying to leave and basically not be a part of his life anymore. And that kind of just like really hit home for me. I decided to express myself on Facebook, and then as Ms. Trina said, she did reach out to me, and they kind of both told me at that point that it's a possibility I may not be his child, and that was the first time I ever heard that. So it was kind of like just earth-shattering.
That's because his mother has been telling him that this is his dad, like as an absolute fact. And women do this all the time. They don't, some women know for a fact who the father of their child is because they know they've only slept with one person. But then there's women that are a lot loose, for lack of a better term, and they sleep with multiple men in a 2-week period or a 30-day period, and then they may not know for a fact exactly who the dad is. So as far as he knows, this is his dad, and then this all of a sudden, it's like it's impossible for somebody else to be his dad other than this guy, because this is what his mother always told him. And now it's a chance that it could not be his dad, so he's really like, what the hell's going on now? So, and I feel sorry for this kid.
Shattering at that point for me. And then when I hear them say, hey, I may not be his child, it got me thinking like, darn, my presence on this earth just made a negative impact on someone else's life.
Oh,
No.
And,
That's crazy.
No.
That's crazy.
Because your mother loved you with all her heart. You know that.
This is, see, again, now she's going on to this tirade of, no, there's somebody love you, it's your mother. He's not talking about you, lady. He's talking about the father's love, the father being there. And this stepfather, I'm led to believe they probably not even married. Look at this guy. Look at his face. I'm led to believe they're not even married. Let me turn this off. Look at this guy's face. I don't believe they even married. I believe he just needed a place to stay, and she happened to have some government assistance or something. And I'm alleging all of this, but just look at this guy. He's not happy, and she looks like she's stuck up. She's just self-absorbed. She don't care about what anybody else thinks. She's just trying to get her rocks off. It is, oh my God, it's so annoying.
You my
Yes,
twin,
ma'am.
and I showed
You
love
my twin.
for ever since the day that I had you. You are my world, and I played the mother and father role because I knew what.
I hate when women say that I played the mother and father role. You can't play the mother and father role. You, as a woman, you can't teach a boy how to urinate in the toilet and pee straight. You can't teach him that. That's something, he's going to pee off the side. He's going to do this, wrong, that, but that dad can show him how to aim. He can show him different things that men do that women don't know how to do because they're not men. And you can't be the mother and the father. You're just a mother without the father. That's it. You're a mother without the father. There was no man to help raise the boy. So, he may play sports, may not play sports, but it's just different things that a dad in the life helps well round the child. It's giving the male perspective and the woman perspective. When it's just woman, it's one-sided. You're looking for a man to build your character around, to become a man like this particular man. In my case, I had a stepfather, that stepped up, and I partially molded myself like him, because my dad wasn't around. But I hate when women do this.
He was denying you, so I made it the best. I did the best that I could do.
All right,
in
Ms.
a
Wallace.
one household parent.
And I need you to allow Jeffrey to speak.
Yes, ma'am.
Because really
Yes,
it
Your
is
Honor.
about him.
Yes,
And he
yes.
does deserve the opportunity to say what he feels.
Right.
Yes.
He shouldn't have to post it on Facebook. He should be able to say it face to face to Mr. Connor and
Right,
to
right,
you, to
right.
everyone.
Yes.
It's his truth.
I wish
Yes,
you
Your
shut
Honor.
up.
I love my son with all my
That's
heart.
your
It don't
son.
have nothing
I
to do
love
with
him
you.
with all my heart.
You victimized.
Oh, no. Hold on, Mr. Connor. This is a moment that I need you to understand. I brought up your son, and then you brought up Mr. Connor. I brought up your son, you brought up Mr. Connor. I brought up your son, you brought up I.
Right,
I brought
right.
up your son, I.
Right. She
It
worried
goes
about
back
herself.
to you, I love
Yes.
him.
Yes,
We know
Your Honor.
that, but what I'm saying is in this moment,
Yes.
this is just about
Why
him.
does she keep
Yes,
saying
ma'am.
yes?
Because
if
as
she knew that,
much
she
as
would have
you
never
love
done
him-
it in the first place.
That doesn't change the fact that when he watched that Fresh Prince of Bel-Air
Yep.
episode,
Yep. He told.
he did not write about why he didn't have a mama, because he had one.
Yes,
Right,
ma'am.
right.
He wrote about why he didn't have a father.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
All
Your
right.
Honor.
I think we need to get the results.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
let's get the result.
Jerome? These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows.
Stop. Before you do any holiday shopping this year, you really have to see this. I'm going to show you one simple trick that'll save you a lot of money when you're shopping online. In fact, I was
In the case of Connor versus Wallace, when it comes to 24-year-old Jeff,
I'm going to take a shot at this. I think he may be the father. I just don't think he should have been going to jail for it. I just don't think that, but let's go.
Jeffrey Wallace. It has been determined by this court. Mr. Connor, you are not the father.
What? Oh, man,
She
come
committed a
on.
crime. She set me up. I knew this all the time.
Yo,
I'm done.
I understand you are frustrated, and
what? This is what I'm talking about. Now look at this face. She had me fooled. Look at this face.
This all the time.
It's a
I'm done.
Look at this face as if, what? I had you fooled. What? The man said he wasn't the father. He said why he wasn't the father. I didn't believe him. I ain't gonna even lie. I didn't believe him. I really was convinced that might be his son. But he's saying he knew the whole time, but she has a look on her face as if, what you mean? And I know she's about to have every excuse in the world. And she knows she slept around with multiple guys. And look at this fool over here. Look at his face. Why doesn't he look surprised? They don't even have his whole face on the screen. Why doesn't he look surprised? Maybe he know how she gets down. That's what I'm led to believe. That's crazy.
I understand you are frustrated, and I understand you.
And then on top of that, the man done went to jail for a whole year for a child that's not his. He's been paying child support for a child that's not his. He's broke. I'm sure he lost his BMWs that he said he had earlier for a child that's not his. That's crazy, man. Women are different, bro. Wow, that's crazy.
A lot. I want to turn my attention to Jeffrey. So, Jeffrey, are you all right, honey?
Crazy.
Not really. Yeah, not really.
Nah. His mama been telling him this the whole time.
More so because my mom, she was very, very, very adamant that Jewett was the dad. So that made me more
What are you
adamant
shaking
as
your
well.
head for?
I know.
And
If you know, why didn't you tell this boy? You wasn't sure. Why didn't you just say why would you say for sure this is your daddy? Why wouldn't you just say, well, it's a possibility he's your daddy. That we can go get a paternity test and to make sure he's your daddy. But she been getting child support. She been spending this money. This man been struggling and got locked up for a year in jail. Where it's smelling like urine and feces the whole time, and a bunch of men. Come on, man. This is a travesty. This is a downright travesty, and all she can say is, yes, I know. Yes, I know. Meanwhile, you done stole this man's life. You done stole this man's life. And I don't think women consider what they do to the child when they do this kind of thing. She done put a block in this young man's brain now. Now he has no clue who his daddy is.
I just want to apologize first. Like, I know it's nothing that
And
I
you don't
did,
have to apologize.
You're
but
a great person.
thank
You're
you.
a very great person.
And
It's all
it's
in
just
mama.
like
I would have loved you to have been my son, but I mean, I just knew.
He knew.
At this point, I never, like, before this whole incident, I never even knew that there was another possibility.
That's okay, and that's why we have Dr. Jeff here for you, for all of you, because this isn't easy. Family issues.
Wait a minute. I know this judge is not going to just let her get away with this. This judge has to question her. Do you know who the father is? Do you know this? Do you know that? Now she's already finna put on a pity party. Look at his face. She finna put on a pity party. Let me take this closed caption off. Now look at his face. Why hasn't his face changed the whole court show? His face has been exactly the same because he know she ain't worth nothing. He know it. He just need a place to stay. That's a face of somebody who needs a place to stay. The judge can't let her get away with this. You don't just go get to talk to Dr. whoever in the back. Ask her some questions like, who is the daddy? Do you know something?
Family things.
Ma'am, you can't come up here. Stay here. Stay
Wow.
on the podium.
Wow. That's it?
Love you.
Yo.
I want you to take advantage of the counseling and the resources.
Yo, so the judge lets her off the hook. See, this is something I don't like about the show. Why didn't she question him about who is the daddy? She's done it on other shows. Why didn't she question on this one? Yo, man, this one got me off guard, man. I didn't see this coming. I didn't see this one coming at all, man. She didn't question her to see if you know who the daddy is. You didn't ask, because it's clear it's somebody else. But you know, is he dead or is it was some one night stands? I'm sure it must have been a plethora of guys, and then the judge just did not want to put her through it. Maybe she already told the producers, "Hey, it was a bunch of guys. I don't know who it is. Please tell the judge not to ask me who it is." You know what I mean? I don't know what the case is, but it's not this guy. And this guy went through all of this. He's been to jail. What about his money? What about all the money he paid out for this child that's not his? What about his jail time? What about all of this? It's just like, that's what it is. And, you know, they do men so dirty, man. This show was really disappointing, man. Man, that's crazy. That's crazy, man. But hey, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. I want to do more reaction videos. I may not have the best reactions, but I mean, I do shows like this and other different shows. So if you want to check those out, hit the notification bell. I got regular shows where I'm talking about entertainment news. Then I have shows where I'm just telling stories about my life growing up. Sometimes entertaining, sometimes not. Just my story. It's just what it is. But please like, share, subscribe. It's your boy, Carlito Monroe. Peace.